if you're a platform that's still discussing these dumbass 50-50 conversations or who black men married, I just assume that you're dumb. Because I'm not going to argue with grown-ass people about statistics that's readily available for you to look up. And I'm not going to argue with people that don't want to accept the statistics.
Women always married up. Wouldn't that mean that men married down?
Absolutely.
So men in that case would be settling, right?
A lot of men settle.
A lot of men settle.
A lot
I
of
agree
men,
with that.
a lot of men settle.
So first they started talking about hypergamy, dating up. Hypogamy is actually dating down. We rarely talk about hypogamy. But in this video, they're saying that men have historically dated down. No, men have never described choosing a woman as dating down, ever. It was just something that we did because men are the protectors and the providers. We are the head of the household. We take on that responsibility. But I've rarely seen a man say that I'm marrying this woman because I'm dating down. Only women use that terminology. And even if you look at the definition of hypogamy, they always talk about marrying into a higher caste or a higher family, and they're gearing that towards women. And that's perfectly fine. We all know that women want somebody that they can admire, somebody they can look up to. So historically, women have always tried to date up.
But see, there's a real conversation in that you ain't ready for. White women marry up, okay? And most of our sisters marry down, but you're not ready for that conversation.
100%.
Okay, so you hear the chubby dude in the middle, right? He said that white women marry up, but black women marry down.
That could take you a whole other place right now. And I told you I've been drinking, so you might want to get that mic off.
So
Come out when you drink, though.
no, but let's explore though. Why do you believe that most white women marry up and minorities, black women, marry down?
Because white women have been trained by their mothers to marry up. The man is supposed to take care of you. The man is the head of the household, where a lot of times, a lot of our sisters have been told that black men ain't shit. You feel what I'm saying? I can do it for myself. I made it on my own.
Now you see how he just brought up two different points. The second one had nothing to do with the first. First, he said black women historically marry down. Then he said black women were taught to be independent and do it all by themselves. What does that have to do with a black woman marrying down? Nothing.
Do you think that is why in society it is sometimes deemed the angry black woman is more masculine, whereas you see a lot of brothers getting with white women because they're more submissive?
Did you see the NBA draft class this year? It's a bunch of high yellow brothers like me and him in that class. So what you think? Absolutely.
Okay, so let me explain something here to the uneducated. We saw the draft, which is the way that they're reacting is exactly the way that black women reacted when we saw the NBA draft and the NFL draft. They seen these young black men with these white or non-black women, and they just assume that all black men tend to marry white or non-black women, which is false. As I stated, black women marry black men at an 87% clip. Black men married black men marry black women at a 79% clip. There is 21% of married black men married to non-black women. Is that the majority? No. However, it is a significant piece of the black men marriage population because now it's at 1 in 5. But it is not the majority. 4 out of 5 black men who are married marry black women. So these conversations are stupid if you look at the numbers. Why are we still having a conversation about who black men marry when it's overwhelmingly black women? These conversations make no sense. And like I said, this is the reason why a lot of people don't want me on their show, because they want me to discuss opinions. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to discuss feelings or how it would be or should be. No. If you're a platform that's still discussing these dumbass 50-50 conversations or who black men married, I just assume that you're dumb. It's simple as that. Because I'm not going to argue with grown-ass people about statistics that's readily available for you to look up. And I'm not going to argue with people that don't want to accept the statistics. facts about black men that the black community doesn't want black people to know. So at the top there, it says black women in the 50-50 conversation. Every other race of women are stay-at-home moms. Black women refuse to look to their left and look to their right and see those white and non-black women working right beside them. But then they'll come on social media and try and shame black men for not being able to take them out of the workforce, when that's how every other race generates generational wealth, puts their kids through college, creates stable homes in regards to the finances they're bringing in. This is how they do it. Did you know that there's only one marriage dynamic where the wife doesn't work? There are 5 basic marriage types for all races. Wife is the sole breadwinner. Woman works, wife earns all of the money. So 100% of the income coming into the household is that dynamic. The man isn't bringing in anything. He's not retired. He's not disabled. He's not bringing in any money. Let's consider him a house husband of some sorts, right? Keep that in mind. The second one, the wife is the primary breadwinner. Woman works. Wife earns most of the money. So that would be considered 60 to 70% of the household income is coming from the wife. So that would mean that 30 to 40% is coming from the man, which would be essentially part-time. Egalitarian, aka 50-50. Woman works. Wife almost earns the same. In egalitarian / 50-50 relationships, the man tends to earn $62,000. The woman tends to earn about $60,000, which would mean that even in 50-50 dynamics, the husband still makes more than the wife. However, the wife still works and contributes 50-50. But if you put those two numbers together, that will be $122,000 for the household. Husband is the primary breadwinner. Woman works. Y'all see a trend here? Wife earns some of the money. That would be her working part-time, 30 to 40% of the household income. Now, the one in green is the most important, and let me remove myself so you guys can see this. Husband is the sole breadwinner. Woman does not work. Wife earns no money / stay at home. So this is the dynamic that black women are commenting about. They're under the impression that every black woman should be able to stay at home. 4 of these 5 dynamics, the woman works. Only one is when the woman does not work. Okay? Wives are gaining economic influence while carrying a heavier burden at home. And these numbers are from Pew Research. In 1972, 85% of households, the husband was the primary or sole breadwinner. In 1972, 11% was egalitarian, 50-50. 5% was when the wife was the primary or sole breadwinner. Fast forward to 2022. Now, primary or sole breadwinner, 55% for the husband, 50-50, egalitarian, 29%. And then 16% of wives are primary or sole breadwinner. You can look at that 2 different ways. Some would say men are making less money, so now women are forced to work. Or you could say that's a sign of progression for women. Make sense? It depends on who you're talking to. You see this in green? Out of every category, and I'm going to show you, 40% of black husbands are either the sole or primary breadwinners in their marriages. All wives, the husband, like I said, 55, egalitarian, 29%, 16%. So white men, 54% are the primary sole providers. And then black men, 40%. So yes, there is more white men. So more white men are going to be primary sole breadwinner. However, when you scroll over, you can see that the egalitarian, aka 50-50, is damn near the same. 29% for white men, 34% for black men. And then wife slash primary or sole provider, it's 17% for white women, 26% for black women. So do you see this 40, 34, and 26? If you look at the largest number in the black community for marriage financial dynamics, that would put black men at 40% as opposed to 34 and 26%, okay? So I just want to be clear on that. In all three of those categories, the highest is when black men are the primary or sole provider, breadwinner, okay? Whether it's part-time, whether it's full-time, egalitarian, or if she's the primary or sole breadwinner. 4 out of 5, okay? So here are some benefits for dual household income. Percentage of dual income households in the U.S. Have been the majority for at least about 2 decades. In 2019, 53.3% of households were dual income, up from 51.9%. It's increasing. Inflation, all this stuff. Income. Dual income marriages tend to have higher incomes than marriages with the sole provider. So when you just have one man providing, the earnings are lower. In 2022, the median household income for marriages with a sole earner was around $75,000, while marriages with either spouse working had a median household income of roughly $135,000 to $145,000. That's crazy. Poverty rates. Poverty rates are also higher for sole earner marriages. In 2022, the poverty rate for husband and wife sole provider marriages was at 7 and 9%, respectively, versus only 1% in dual earner marriages. So out of all of that, wouldn't it be wise that we start championing dual household incomes, since everybody else is doing it and we see the results, especially in the white community, and we want to sit there and argue 50-50? So now y'all see why I call people who still having these conversations dumb? You get it now? Jesus Christ.